Once upon a time, there was pirates, and there were zombies, both of which found their way to space in the form of Space Pirates and Zombies, to be remembered as one of the most unique and replayable top-down action space strategy games of all time. Since the original, we've all been waiting now for nearly 3 years. Some of us even lost hope, worried that we would never see a sequel. We've all seen the screenshots and heard all the devs' lofty goals for the sequel, most of which seem, like so many things in life, too good to be true. Naturally, many of us resigned to the possibility that these goals were just too lofty for such a little indie company. Well, I have news for you. Minmax Games, the developer of SPAZ and now SPAZ 2, has slammed down in front of us the most innovative and exciting experiences I have had the privilege of playing in a long time. I often approach early access with caution, especially when it comes to giving straight up praise. However, I feel that it's safe to say that everything that we hoped SPAZ 2 would be, it truly is. Set to be released as early access in Steam on May 19th, 2016, Space Pirates and Zombies 2 is a top-down and isometric space action strategy RPG with an unlimited Lego-like ship customization system and easy-to-learn and use flight model with full fleet management. Yeah, all that. It's everything that the developer has promised. What an amazing and delightful surprise for us all, right? Oh, did I mention that multiplayer is also on its way? Yep, they're currently working on a variety of multiplayer options as well. Truly amazing. Alright, we're gonna play some Space Pirates and Zombies 2. We're gonna show off about 30 minutes of gameplay just so that everybody kind of gets a good idea of what this is all about. And before we get started, I just wanted to point out this wonderful intro screen. Every time you load up the game, you get to see a procedurally generated massive battle between two computer-generated opponents with basically a random loadout of ships. It looks like we've got some zombie ships this time fighting some, I don't know, it's just great. I love this. So you can get in here and you can kind of get an idea of what the combat's going to be like. You can actually take a look at some weapon systems that you don't normally get to see. And it's so cinematic and beautiful. I just love it. It looks absolutely delightful. So, and before we get started, let's take a quick look at the options for this game. Most of it is pretty straightforward. You can adjust your mouse sensitivity and all that basic stuff, the graphics, all sorts of options here. The game has been running absolutely fantastically for me. I run a 780 Ti and just a i7 3770, so not even current generation CPU, but I think the graphics card has a lot to do with how well this runs. I hope this runs well. I hope it's very scalable for everybody, but for me, it's running really, really well. So, and we also have the controller, so if you want to play this via controller, here you go. You've got your setup. I love this. Nicely set up. I like that. Also, something to make sure you don't overlook this weapon config. You may not want to play with it immediately, but as time progresses, you will find that this is more and more handy. So you can set up your weapon loadouts, because different weapons in the game have different, of course, different abilities, different ranges, and blast radiuses, all those things. So you want to have your missiles grouped up maybe under, number 5, and you want to have your beam weapons grouped up under a different thing. I guess it just depends on whatever kind of configuration you have for your ship. So do not overlook this. You may not want to look at it right away, but later on in the game, of course, you may not want your Cruel, whatever. That sounds like a really awesome weapon, by the way. The Cruel, I want it. I don't know what it is, but it sounds great. But you may not want your Cruel on the same key or on the same to fire at the same time as your cannon, because they may have vastly different ranges. Who knows? All right, so just to let you know that that's there, and also let's go back. There is going to be multiplayer in this game. They're currently in development. Apparently it's almost done, just based on what they said in the early access notes there, so I'm really excited about that. I don't know if they're going to have a full multiplayer campaign, but I hope so. Oh my god. This game is already going to be in my top 10. I can see it for 2016. I think it's going to be in my top 10. Now, it would be one of the top games of all time. If there was a multiplayer campaign, and you'll get to see the campaign here in a minute, it would be hands down one of the best games I've ever played. I love space games, and look at this. Oh my god, this looks so gorgeous. Looks so amazing. Like, what kind of modules are these? Are all custom-made ships, right? That looks so incredible. I think that's a zombie ship, to be honest with you. You can see kind of like, it looks like the purple veins in it. Oh, it looks amazing. Anyway, so multiplayer, that is coming. And single player, there are 2 single player options. Currently, there is the sandbox and there is the campaign. The sandbox gives you a whole bunch of options to set up your universe as you see fit. So it's kind of this open-ended game, and I think the campaign is kind of that way too. There might be a storyline underneath everything, just kind of like Space Pirates and Zombies was too as well. But with the sandbox, you don't have to worry worry about the tutorial that the campaign brings you through at the beginning. It just drops you right in the middle of, you know, open space with, you know, you got your backpack on, you're in your little ship, and away you go, and you can go be a pirate or go be a zombie. Well, I guess you can't really be a zombie, but you get the idea, right? And you can decide on the faction strength, the bandit population, the perks per level. This is relevant. So this is interesting. So you gain levels in this game just like you would in any good RPG game. You gain levels, and for every level you get random, I don't know if they're random or they're assigned perks. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, you can actually decide how many perks you get per level. That's really cool. Of course, you can decide how strong the zombies are, how quickly you level up, you know, all those really wonderful things. So this adds to, of course, the replayability, which is wonderful. Now, we're going to be playing the campaign today, and the campaign brings you through a whole bunch of tutorials, which are actually super helpful, and the dialogue is fantastic. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this. So here, let's just get this started here. We can decide on the difficulty level. I've been playing it normal, which seems to be fine. I'm sure as I get better at this, I'll probably want to step that up to expert, but let's get her started.
Currently, we use computer synthesized voices for the main cast.
We plan to replace them with real voice work at some point in the near future.
If you don't like these voices, you can disable them now or at any time in the sound options menu.
So computer synthesized voices, I love them. I don't know why. As you'll soon see, the dialogue is fantastic, and maybe it's just the dialogue that's making it all better, but the computer synthesized voices with the quite humorous and quirky dialogue as well. Actually, the combination is really, it's quite nice. And I've laughed out loud multiple times with this dialogue. Whoever the writers are, they're fantastic. And I actually kind of like the computer synthesized voice. I know one of the things they're working on in early access is bringing on a team of voice actors to voice act all of this stuff. But I do hope that they still leave the option for computer synthesized voice, because I've enjoyed it. Anyway, let's do this. Let's launch the game. And there's a little bit of an intro here, so I'll see you on the other side, and we'll get a little spazzy on the other side. All right.
Element 126, resin, res. It was the answer to everything. A transmutable element with the power to unlock the secrets of the universe. It gifted humanity everything there was to know about space-time, and how to enslave it. Res triggered an explosion of technological advancement. Mankind spread to the far reaches of the galaxy, growing exponentially in numbers, along with the reliance on res. The United Terran Alliance was founded to control the countless population. Eventually they sought to ration the use of res. As res supplies thinned, conflict arose. An epidemic of fortune-seeking miners forced their way to the galactic core, where resin was most abundant. Eventually the primary res source was discovered. All res stemmed from a sinister and timeless energy being. A being awakened by the use of res. They had sprung an ancient and recursive trap, res being the bait no budding civilization could possibly ignore. Corruption spilled outward into the stars, twisting the biological matrix of all it touched, integrating it into machines. Mankind's own technology, their own dead, had begun to turn against them. For years they struggled to survive against a flood of abominated metal and flesh. Billions were lost to the infection, only further feeding the expanding corruption. In spite of hopeless obliteration, the very fabric of life itself arose to fight the dark entity. As a race, humanity came together for a single purpose. In some twisted way, they had found peace. Peace, however, does not last. People fell back into their self-minded ways. Humanity turned inward in a scramble for the remaining res, which now could no longer be renewed. As the UTA lost its control over the galaxy, they collapsed the entire warp gate network, beyond any hope of salvage. Human ingenuity, it turns out, knows no captivity. Out of need, a resin-based drive was developed, allowing more direct travel anywhere in the galaxy. The void was reborn as the wild, untapped, and lawless frontier. As years pass, piracy and skirmish battles rage, precious res the prize. Raw worlds are recklessly colonized and disputed by legions of makeshift starships. An entire ecology of nomadic drifters emerged, endlessly recycling the wrecks of constant war. All the while, the nearly forgotten saviors of the galaxy tirelessly struggled to exterminate the last remnants of the infection.
Sigh. It seems like yet again you dimwits have flown my ship headlong into an infested region. That is the third time this week. 6 million forms of communication, and I'm yet to find one that can articulate how moronic you fools are. Computer, power up the weapons and shield emitters. The doctor is in.
I love that. I love that sigh. I love I don't mind the computer synthesized voice. I think it actually adds something to the dialogue, which you'll find as we go on here is actually quite good. So the wonderful thing I love about that intro is that, and you probably didn't even think about it as you were watching it. Yes, we're in combat here. We'll talk about that in a second. But as you're watching it, you're probably not even realizing that they hardly used any, like there wasn't really any effort in terms of graphical fidelity, in terms of making that intro. It was actually quite simple, but because they did it in such a unique and interesting way, it's actually interesting and wonderful to watch. I really enjoyed the intro, actually. So, as you can see, we start off in the firing crucible of combat. I love how they sort of introduce you to the game by just throwing you into this massive fight against a whole bunch of zombies. Look at that mega kill, 301 points. So you'll notice the style of graphics here is very similar to games like oh, have I lost my engine? I think my engine's down. I can't move. So the style of combat reminds me so very much of Sword of the Stars. It looks and feels like Sword of the Stars. Of course, in Sword of the Stars, you never really directly controlled your ships quite like this, but it looks like Sword of the Stars, except it's so clean and beautiful and rich, and just the explosions are amazing. You can see the blood from the zombie ships just splattering all over the place. Yes, I've officially lost my engine. I cannot move. Oh no, there we go. I'm actually moving now. Ah, perfect. So why are we in combat right away? How can we be in combat? Why do we have like a really nice mothership already? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Well, it's all gonna come clear in a second. So as far as controls, WASD to move, as well as using shift to fire our afterburners, and you can hold down the right mouse button, which I didn't get to show you there, to zoom in on your targets and fire. But it looks like we've actually been destroyed. Oh no, it's game over, guys. It's all over. Only 128,000 points. I don't want to try
By the void. Level 13 is truly the bane of my existence.
Carl, seriously? Do you realize crew members suffocated on the lower decks because you routed power from life support to play stupid video games?
I would do the same thing.
Silence, imbecile. They gave their lives for the greater good. A scientific mind must stay active, or it would wither and wrinkle. I'll boil any ocean. I'll irradiate a whole litter of Nerlachian pups. I'll divide by 0 if I have to.
I told you he would cause trouble if you leave him to his own whim. Those implants can really make a man sick in the melon. Elsa, he's a liability if we keep him on board.
Please refrain from sneaking up on another living creature like that. Do you not realize the horror people have to endure every time they look at your face? You are fortunate I did not inadvertently dismember you in a panic-induced frenzy.
Everyone, shut up. To the bridge right now. Anyone not here in 30 seconds is getting vented into space.
It's only the second time I've seen this intro, and it's so funny. Actually, now that I'm actually clearly reading it, it's hilarious. Nerlachian pups. Oh my god, the dialogue is so good, and I'm sorry, I think it's even better with the computer synthesized voice. I don't know, I think it adds something to it because it's kind of monotone, and it just, I don't know, I really like it. It's quite enjoyable. So now we get the opportunity.
I'm glad to see everyone was able to get up at the crack of noon to work towards sustaining our survival. Let me present to you all the garbage dump we'll be sifting through this afternoon. Yes, most of this is useless junk. Yes, this is utterly pathetic, but what choice do we have?
This ain't no way to treat these here metal mother. The ladies deserves better. Let me be snapping on something fresh.
He might not be the best candidate to operate the tractor prototype. Keep in mind that Carl built this thing, so it goes without saying that it's dangerous. I would hate to have come all this way just to have Mackenzie rip us apart like a rabbit chimp with Carl's untested toys. You know how those two can be.
I don't really care who does what, but we need to jump on this opportunity to expand the mothership. That core module will give us some elbow room, while those wings will give us some much-needed firepower. Let's get those modules fitted so we don't have to listen to each other breathe anymore.
Please pay close attention to the moving picture feature film show. You will be subjected to standardized testing following this demonstration.
Oh, crap. I hate tests. All right, so yeah, this is the magical, wonderful ship assembler. I love this. This is so unique and different from anything I've seen before. It's delightfully fun to do as well. So basically, your ship is made up of modules. So you've got wing pieces and you've got core pieces that can just expand your ship, and you've got a nose piece and you've got an engine piece. All of these can be detached by holding down the control button, like so. Isn't that wonderful? Now, the goal here is, of course, to attach even more wing pieces via this core piece. So every piece has individual traits. So your engines, for example, if we look at it, engines are weapon platforms that can be mounted into rear-facing subcore ports. Engines provide a bonus to thrusters. So different parts also include weapons and variety of different abilities depending on what they are. Most of our, I think all of our items only have weapons attached to them. We don't have any special abilities, except the engine still thrust, right? So you'll notice the engine also has 2 times micro missiles, which give us 0.2 damage per second, which is terrible. Whoops. And you just use the control to track to those and hold those in place. Isn't that wonderful? So, and then of course these core pieces, subcores, are used to expand the size of your mothership frame. They do provide passive bonuses to hull, armor, shields, reactors, and flight systems. So, and you'll notice there's a bunch of attributes attached to this on the right side of that little module panel there. And all we're gonna do is expand our ship by attaching that to the other core piece, which will allow us to attach 3 wings to each side. Now, wings are dependent on either right or left. You cannot attach a right to a left or a left to a right. Wings are weapon platforms that can be mounted onto side-facing subcore ports. Wings provide a bonus to turning rate, as well as provide 2 times. This particular wing provides 2 times micro blasters, 0.3 damage per second, which are like little machine guns. So our broadside weapons are short-range machine guns, or shorter-range machine guns than our missiles anyway. So we can just drag those and right to the ports. Isn't that wonderful? So as time goes on, you get access to more and more and more and more parts. And of course, they all end up here and you can just manipulate them and move them around. It reminds me kind of like a cross of other builder games and like Habitat. Remember Habitat? It kind of reminds me of Habitat, where you're just kind of attaching parts, like just random stuff together to make a magical mothership. So and then we have our cone, our nose cone, which we're going to, well, actually we'll detach
What
it. So
exactly do you think
oh,
you're
man.
doing? Stop leaning on the overhead projection like a crutch. This isn't some archaic top-down space shooter we are playing here. This is real, brutal, and eating life we are talking about. Join the rest of us down here in reality.
This is real, brutal, kitten-eating life we're talking about. Kitten-eating? What? I didn't get to tell you about the nose cone, but we'll talk about that later. It doesn't matter. Just know that it's cool. It has lasers on it. It has frickin' lasers. So now we have 2 camera modes. We have, of course, our traditional Space Pirates and Zombies top-down camera mode. And then we have, of course, what we've all been waiting for, the thing that we have all been looking forward to with Space Pirates and Zombies 2, the isometric
Our
view.
lithium capacitor is now tapped out. I've devised a method to simply eject the spent cell, while fabricating a new one out of surrounding space dust. Do not ask me how it works, or why it makes sense. All that you need to know is that you will be unable to fire the ship's weapons while the new cell is being installed.
That's right. So your weapons lose their charge over time. You'll notice their little crosshair in the center has 0 charge at the bottom. So we can hit R to reload it. It will automatically reload normally anyway. You don't normally have to hit R, but for demonstration purposes, of course, that's what they've done for us. Yay! So I love the isometric mode. It is amazing.
All right,
It feels so good.
I'm bringing the weapons online, if that is indeed what you want to call this garbage. Let's blast open some of these containers. Maybe we can find something to eat that won't make our hair fall out.
I have decided that it would be best if basic resource towing was left up to the ship's computer. These items are too fragile to be handled by Neanderthals. It brought me great pain to watch you struggle with the tractor beam.
Yeah. I can handle it. Trust me, I can handle it. I just love it. It's so good. So engines online, so we can actually use the W key to move forward. Of course, we can use our mouse to pick our direction. Now, the controls are slightly different if you are playing in top-down mode, but my preference is the isometric. I really like the isometric mode. And these, just like in Space Pirates and Zombies, there's things you can mine and gather in containers by just shooting the containers, like so. If we hold down the left mouse button, it will shoot all of our weapons at once. We can drag in that module, which just happens to be res. Now, res is this universal source of power that we can use to not only charge our engines and travel quickly, but we can also feed our goons, which are crew members on our ship. Now there's also scrap too as well. Those are our basic materials: res, goons, and scrap. So we have our crew,
Please
our power,
assemble
our
and
crew.
perform the following diagnostic tests on the kinetic shield system. Your life and my home may depend upon it.
Yeah, so res, goons, and scrap. So that is power, crew, and trading material. So there we go. So now we do have shields as well. You notice at the bottom left, that is charging up. We can also hit space to boost our shields when things are getting heated. So we'll wait until that's full up. Now we can hold down the space button and it's charged up.
All
now it's
modern
harder for people to destroy us, but we can't fire.
equipped with special regenerating boost capacitors. Please practice making rocket go fast now.
Make rocket go fast now. So, and if we hold down the left shift button, we actually get an
I have
afterburner.
to say I'm impressed. You were all able to lace this thing back together without eating each other. The only thing that remains is to test the res drive. Mackenzie, start the pre-flight procedure.
From scotch and caviar to beers and tears. How is it that Jameson is the only other one with ambition to dig out of this dung heap? Just cook those bloody engines up and lay your nickels for somewhere that isn't here. Please.
I will absolutely do that. So, and of course we can use our res engines that we're traveling with right now. And I don't think it actually uses power when you're in this particular mode, when you're actually in an instance. But when you go to the tactical mode, which is the star map, we can use our res engines
Welcome
like
to
a
the Super
hyperdrive.
Ultra Star Map 9000. This holographic interface will allow you to scan all known galactic entities, plot mothership destinations, and communicate with other ships and star bases. Please practice untethered exploration now.
Yes, if we were playing just the sandbox mode, we would start like this. This is where we'd start. We wouldn't have all this campaign information and stuff, but I thought this was important to show you guys. Now, we can literally go anywhere and do anything we want. We can follow this tutorial, which is what we're going to do, but we could theoretically go over here and say, hey, what's this? Well, this is an empty starbase. Eventually, you can build your own starbases, even start your own faction. Oh my God, there's so much depth when it comes to this kind of stuff. And of course, look at this campaign map. It's massive. Of course, you can take over areas, fight with other factions. You can just stay independent. You can be a pirate. You can, it's so much. Okay, so let's go over the bottom bar here quickly. So assemble ship, that brings us back to our wonderful assemble mode. Let's take a look at that nose cone since we're here. That's right. So noses are weapon platforms that can be mounted onto forward-facing subcore ports. Noses provide bonus to shields, as well as I think certain noses, depending on what it is, will have special abilities that make it easier to ram and stuff. Yes, ramming is a thing! Trust me, I've lost ship parts already to ramming. And that one has lasers, which is a very short-range weapon. And notice here you've got your different, so you can actually see your different, so we can actually go to number 5, which is just missiles. I think you actually have to be targeted on something. So notice here, if I hit 5 on the keyboard, it goes to missiles. If I go 4, it goes to my lasers. If it goes 3, I can go to my machine guns, which are my broadside weapons currently. And number 2, which is fire everything all at once. It's not firing missiles because we need to be targeted. And number 1 eventually will become our auto fire button, and which means it'll automatically fire depending at the enemy, depending on where they are to you. So if you feel like not manually doing it, you can have the machine do it, but that's not until later. So let's get back here. Whoops. How do we get back? Tactical. Let's go back to star map. Okay, and then we have our stuff button.
In an effort to curb interplanetary diseases, just about all of our traded goods now have to go through this hands-off filtered interface.
Yeah. Okay, so hands-off filtered interface, which is our stuff button. So here we can actually just dump stuff if we want. This is also our trade screen. The trade screen is identical to this, except we would see what the other guy has over here, and then we can use our salvage to actually trade him for stuff. We can dump parts, as well as, you know what? One of the wonderful things about not only this version of Space Pirates and Zombies, but the original one too as well. It's simple, but there's a lot of depth. It's easy to use. Everything is so simple and laid out in such an easy to use, easy to understand fashion. So we've got our nose cone. This is what we've got in our nose cone. If we want to junk the part, it's right here. If we've got a bunch of stuff, this is also your looting screen. If there's a bunch of stuff here, you can just hit the take all button, it takes it all. And this is of course our scrap, our res, and our people, our goons. Pardon me, one second. Pardon me, guys. I should edit that out. I probably will. Yes, also you can see if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty on a ship, it shows you the mass, the health, you know, I think that's the build cost, I'm not sure, the power, the turn rate, you know, all of these things are there and ready for you to chew on if you want it. Otherwise, you don't even need to know half of this stuff. You can get a general idea of things and then move on. So as we're moving around here, we will actually go and, because we're free to do whatever we want, we could follow the thing, or we could just say, oh, hey, look, there's a wreckage here. We could go,
Apparently
oh.
your intestines are so long that if you strung them up end to end, you'd probably die. This here metal mother doesn't like to loot the dead. But what need do they got for intestines?
Okay, anyway, so there's different types of events that appear in the universe. All of it is random procedurally generated. Some of it's random procedurally generated. Some of it's faction-based stuff. This happens to be a wreckage, so we can actually just scavenge the wreckage and get 33 goons here, and then maybe there might even be more stuff after that. So after we scavenge a little bit, oh, there's 3 more goons. And now goons are one of those interesting things in the game. If you have too many, it's not so good. So you'll notice to run our current ship right now, we only need 60 goons, but because we have 93, it's actually going to cost us more res because the goons eat the stuff that's fabricated by the res. So as we travel here, we're going to lose that res, which is really unfortunate. So let's go to the next thing, engine mode. So this is really wonderful. So we can determine how fast we're going to be traveling. We can travel at slow speed, which means we're not burning any res, which is wonderful because you run out of res. I don't know what you do if you run out of res, because res is used to move and of course feed your people. If you don't have res, you're stuck. And also, as we don't, and when we're not moving here, the universe isn't moving. So the universe only moves when we move. See? Look at that. And then we stop and everything stands still again. So there's no panic. There's no rush. You can just sit here and nothing's happening. So you can actually think about your moves. I love this design. This is probably one of my favorite things about this game because I don't like to be rushed. I want to be able to think about my things. Now, I don't know if they actually end up doing a multiplayer campaign, how that would work. I'm assuming that would have to keep everything running at all times. But for the single player campaign, it stops when you stop. I love that. I absolutely love it. So now, if we're running in conservation mode, of course, we're not using any res as we move, and it's fairly slow. And yeah, sometimes that's not going to be good enough. Sometimes you need to increase the speed. So this will run at 0.22 res per second. So as I move, we're going to burn 1 res for every, or 4 res for every second approximately. And then we've got the max speed, which is 0.66 res per second, which means we're going to burn through that res fairly quickly. Like I said, you do not want to run out of res. So normally you would probably want to travel at regular speed. Then we've got faction info. There's a variety of different types of factions. I think there's 5 or 6. So Civilian Ascendancy, Void Militia, Sun Hunters, Miners Conglomerate, Sovereignty of Science, Lone Captains, and that's it. So eventually you can build your own faction. But what's wonderful is you have people that join the factions, of course, and each one of these people in the faction have their own agenda. Now, of course, if I make friends with Ka Bombo, of course, that's going to increase the affection of everybody towards me within this faction. Right now, Mr. Other Guy doesn't like me very much, but Ka Bombo does for some reason. So we want to be, if we want to be friend factions, we can. If we want to piss factions off, we can. It's totally up to you how you want to play this. It's kind of that privateer type thing, which I love. I love it so much. We can also help guys out by, defending them and helping them destroy pirates, help them in wars. We can also ally with them once we get our own faction too as well, which is absolutely wonderful. Okay, so let's get back out of here and let's go to lore. I love this. This is so cool. So this is the lore in the game, and you can unlock the lore as you play it. And I will show you one of the lore zones, and as you unlock it, kind of like achievements, you can open it up and it opens up, and not only finding lore, lore not only gives you, of course, information on the history of the galaxy and how things work, it also gives you a little bonus when you find them. For example, do we have any lore here? No lore here. Okay, we'll find some in a second. And then, of course, you can go to your tutorials, which we're not going to do. We can read this.
Now that we are finally underway, let me remind you all that you cannot simply urinate in the corner and proclaim you are the Alpha Meat Husk. You are a minuscule fish in an otherwise colossal ocean of galactic proportions. Unless you wish to be dead before breakfast, read the advisory overlays I have painstakingly programmed for your survival. Do not just click past them and complain on the galactic forums that you did not get the memo. Ignorance will not be excused. Read or die.
Please familiarize yourself with the star map command functions. If you do not assimilate this information now...
First of all, I want him to know that I am always the Alpha Meat Husk. I prefer to be the Alpha Meat Husk when I walk into a room. That's just how I do things. Also, I love how he says there, read through all the tutorials before you start complaining on the forums that things don't work, because so far, I think that everything's been pretty clearly laid out. And yeah, you'll notice there, I just ate 2 res. That means our people, we have we lost 2 res because we have a lot of people eating that res. They just go, nom, 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 really good. So, and there's other things you can find here, like this particular spot. These are like farms almost, and they generate a certain amount of res or whatever it is per second or per minute, and then people can come along and ransack it, or factions can take ownership of it and harvest it. I think this is a faction thing that they can do? I'm not sure, but anybody can just come along and ransack it and take res, so we can get fuel by harvesting this up. And as you're harvesting, you'll notice that time moves on, so that's sort of the consequence of spending time doing that. Now, other people, these can become contested too. You'll have other people sitting here just harvesting away, and other people will come and beat them up because they want to, of course, take the res. We can actually contact other... Let's see if I can catch him. No, we're not fast enough.
Why I don't
there we
even
go.
trust my own office chair these days. Let me be the first to admit that we can't survive out here without the help of others. We should consider trading goods and supplies with people, rather than trading insults and bullets. If a hostile confrontation cannot be avoided, then we should...
Okay, so we can, of course, meet up with other ship captains. I can just fight him if I want. If I want to be a pirate, I can be a pirate. Wow. He does not look healthy. Something's wrong with his complexion. His skin looks a little missing. But yeah, you can trade with anybody. Of course, you can just fly up to another captain and trade with him. So in other words, he's got some scrap. If I want to sell him something, I could. I have nothing to sell, and he really has nothing I would want to buy, but just to let you know that it's there, or I could just try and beat him up. So let's follow the... Oh, let's read the speed thing here. Hold on. Close. We're going to read the speed thing here.
Keep in mind that the more we push the res drive,
I already explained this. So the speed, of course, the faster you go, the more res you're going to be using. And let's just follow the mission objectives. So we're just basically following the campaign, which is a great way to introduce you to the game.
We're mobile. If you are all thoroughly satisfied, we can finally get on with it. We still have stickies out there, not to mention a laundry list of equipment we need before we can do anything about them. Time is of the essence, and we've wasted so much of it already.
Yes, we have.
As anxious as I am to find a so-called sticky, we have not encountered one for many cycles. The ship does not yet have a nacelle to stand on, therefore we need to scout more easy opportunities to explore.
Yeah, so stickies, I presume they're talking about zombies. Zombies, I think, because the stickies and the infection and all that kind of stuff, super fun. So this is a lore spot. Let's go explore this. You'll like this.
If we tune our warp frequency just right, we can sometimes pick up residual data transmissions bouncing around the old warp network. Though the gates are smashed beyond repair, some seem to be able to hang on to these low-density data packets, like a ghostly reminder of our past.
It's a long way to say that we found some information in the galaxy that'll give us a background. And what's wonderful is when you find these, you also get a little bit of a bonus scrap, some bonus res, and I'm assuming this would be research points when you have your own star bases and factions so that you can research stuff. I love this. I love it so much. And on top of that, some of them are like videos, some of them is just background information. Either way, let's see what this is.
Once Earth's neon green oceans burned brighter than the visible sun, humanity collectively decided it was time to find a new home. Pushing the very limits of science, mankind molested the fabric of space-time to create artificial wormholes. These wormholes allowed the transportation of matter across huge distances, though required a reliable exit connection. An automated starship was sent to the nearest neighboring star Alpha Centauri to construct one such connection. Following the 250-year journey, the first warp gate was established, and humanity quickly fled the rotting Earth to the new off-world colony.
Great. I love the dialogue. Honestly, the writers, I want to shake the hands of the writers. It's amazing. Mankind molested the fabric of space-time. I love that. I love it. It's so rich. It just fills my brain full of all sorts of images. It's fantastic. So yeah, as you fill in this little map of achievements, you start to get some information. So of course, A Brief History of Warp, there's going to be 4 versions of that. And I'm assuming that some of them are going to be videos too as well, just like the intro. The intro was a video, so maybe some of these are going to be videos too. And of course, you get a little bonus of stuff too as well when you find them too. So also you'll notice here, we found a pirate bandit hive. So we can actually go and attack the bandit hive, or sometimes there's already people attacking the bandit hives. Oh, and see, there's a bandit. He actually looks like he's probably good enough for us to fight.
With a bandit. In fact, I don't think they even understand a basic language anymore. They pretty much stomp around, raping and pillaging anything that moves. They are not much of a threat to larger ships, since most of them look like they have one foot in the grave already. Nevertheless, they can be a royal pain in the goiter once they dig into an area they like.
Pain in the goiter. Who says stuff like that? I love it. It's amazing. Okay, so we're actually going to fight the bandit. Why not? So he's hostile, and notice he has threat level 6, and we're threat level 5. I feel comfortable enough at threat level 5 to be able to defeat him. He probably has a really crappy ship. We can actually get an idea of what his ship is going to look like. He only has 4 wings versus my 6, and looks like he has the same nose cone, maybe the same engine. So he's pretty close, except he doesn't have quite the same kind of machine gun fire. So let's do it. Let's fight him, and we get a bonus if we destroy him. And of course, there's voice chatter from the bad guys too. I think there's like what is it, like 40 or 60?
Fights I can't win, but everyone makes mistakes. It's not beneath me to use one of those silly failgates if the situation should call for it. Just remember, we're going to have to dump some cargo and leave our striped craft behind if we do so.
I love that they called them failgates. So there's these failgates. If you feel like you're losing the battle, oh, this could be tough. He's got escorts too as well. So right click to zoom in. There we go. We're targeting. There we go. So let's try and broadside this sucker. Uh-oh. I'm not very good at flying yet. There we go. Broadsiding's really good because we've got those machine guns which do a ton of damage. Uh-oh. We do have the missiles too. The missiles are firing out of our butt. I want to keep sort of on that broadside as he turns. And you can actually just, he does have shields as well. I'm going to recharge my shields because my shields are gone. Uh-oh, we're actually, we're in trouble here, guys. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. We're reloading our weapons. Notice we are out of energy. That's never good. I'm going to use my afterburner. Maybe it's those escorts that are actually killing me. I should have gone after the escorts. We're still reloading. Still reloading. Still reloading. We are losing. We're losing badly. Uh-oh. There we go. There we go. There we go. Shields, come on. Oh, man. Okay. Failgate. Where's the failgate? We bit off more than we could shoot, guys. We totally bit off more than we could shoot. I didn't realize that. Whoops. I should have waited. I should have got a few extra parts before we went ahead and did this battle. Whoopsie! Battle lost. I wonder if we can go back, actually. This is the first time I've ever lost. I don't know. But yeah, I bit off more than I can shoot. So low last save. Perfect. Yes. Everybody makes mistakes, right? So yeah, that was just a quick example of a bandit fight. No, I did do a bandit fight last time, but I think I had some better parts in my previous game when I was playing by myself. So you'll notice there's a guy here that's yellow. He is actually part of a faction. I'm not sure exactly what faction. Let's go back on our mission here. Let's go follow the campaign. You got to see me lose a battle already. That's fantastic. I think I made a couple mistakes there. I wasn't watching my shields, and I should have gone after the escorts first. Always fight the escorts first. Always, always, almost always. I will say almost always. Here's another opportunity for battle. This time we can actually help the guys who are actually fighting. So we can actually help Officer Bookson, who's part of a faction. So if I do this, I can join the fight, help him destroy those pirates. And that means because we're actually teaming up against somebody, the fight will be much, much, much easier.
I try not to start fights I can't win.
Yeah. We already saw this. We are out of time already. I can't believe it. So I'm going to try and work through this as quickly as possible. Let's zoom in a little bit better so that we can actually see what's going on. We can actually, but we can probably shoot our missiles. So we could go 5 and shoot our missiles at this guy. I don't even think we're in range for missiles yet. Oh yeah, we did fire missiles. You can see them actually going in the distance there. Oh, they actually rammed the, or hit the asteroid thing or the obstruction. But we've got enough friendlies in here to waste these guys pretty quickly. But this is a great way to make friends with factions if you're interested in making friends with factions. Or I could have joined the side of the pirates and fought the good guys here, per se. Good guys, per se. I mean, it's all perception, right? Let's go back to tactical. And because we actually won that fight, we do get a little bit of the booty. So we only get a portion because we helped them. But we got some scrap, we got some res, and we got some goons. Perfect. We can take all. Sorry. Whoops. There we go. So that's that. And let's just continue on our journey of exploring. Look, there's another battle going on here. So this is a faction-owned area. You can see this is a faction-owned starbase, which eventually we can trade with. We can't quite do it yet because I don't think the campaign will allow us.
I'm calling it. We need to shift our focus back to more pressing needs.
Yes.
Everyone on board is expected to understand.
I'm just going to whip through this because
everyone that every action on board consumes.
Yes, so it's talking about what the ships consume. So we consume goons. Goons, of course, but you need goons to run your ship. So we can actually go in, we can collect goons from these little goon harvesting areas. We can ransack it. We're not going to do that. Well, I guess we have to follow the campaign.
I sense some underdeveloped crewmen.
Yes. They're crew members essentially, and they eat food that is generated from res. And then we can find some res, or there's some scrap here, or we can get some res from this faction-owned field. Now, when we do this, we are going to actually lose some of our faction-y goodness with them. They are not going to like it when they do this. Watch, they're going to be very unhappy. Yeah. Res. We already know what res is, but see, it made the faction leader very unhappy that we just stole the res from the faction. But let's go get some scrap. So yeah, you could go and you can totally grief these guys. Just keep stealing their stuff, and eventually they're not gonna be so happy with you, and they're going to turn on you. Or you can go, if you're allied with another faction, you can go steal their enemy's stuff, or you can just be a pirate. Just be a pirate. That's what I love about
Find
Space
good,
Pirates and Zombies.
fresh,
If you want to be a pirate,
profound
be a
alloys
pirate.
Isn't easy.
Yeah, scrap. Scrap is used for trading. Of course, we can buy and sell stuff with scrap, and pretty soon he's going to tell me to go do exactly that.
We should stock up on Strikecraft.
Strikecraft. So let's go buy some Strikecraft from this faction starbase. So Strikecraft, of course, you can expand your fleet. You can have more than one ship.
Disgusted by the idea of cooperating with
Yes,
others in a fashion.
Starbases you can trade. You
Though I
can
am
even
completely disgusted.
you can even go in and fight in an arena. So cut your teeth in the arena, earn some resources and much needed experience without putting your own ship in harm's way. There is experience in this game, and you do move up in levels and get new perks, which is amazing. We could fight this starbase if we want. We're not going to do it. The threat of the starbase is 45. We are currently at 5, and you saw what happened to that threat level 6 bandit that we fought. It didn't go very well. But what we do want to do is trade with the ship, and there's every faction has its own different types of technology and different types of ships and modules and parts. In this faction, there's rangers, but I've had all sorts of different types of ships that I've flown with. But we will buy. Do we have enough scrap? We don't even have enough scrap to buy. Oh boy! But we can sell some res, maybe. Let's sell some res. So let's sell some res for. Sell some res. So yeah, we got a. Oh no, we bought res. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Hold on, how do I'm not even sure how to do this. Hold on. I screwed up. Whoops. Okay, so now we have 527. I totally messed that up. Hold on, close. Let's go back into the trade here. We did actually manage to buy those ships somehow. I don't know how, but.
Why did we drop out of warp? Carl, what is wrong with my ship?
Nothing is wrong with the ship, Elsie. I've scheduled a combat drill
drills
for today. We're
Jameson is 3 in the morning.
Look at her face. I love it. All right, so now things get really, really fun. We can actually skip. We can actually fly all of the ships in our fleet using the F button. I can actually fly some of our escort ships.
All of the ship's command and control systems are routed through a wireless assisted simulation. A benefit of such a system is you do not have to be physically on the ship to fly it. You can astral project your command focus to another ship, while delegating the control of the mothership to artificial intelligence. While it would make almost too much sense to allow the artificial intelligence to fly every ship, it theoretically would take all the fun.
Yeah, so you can fly any ship you want, and of course I can still manage my fleet from this little ship. So I can use this ship to go do some scouting, or maybe I can, snipe. And this ship happens to have lasers and oh, look at that, different weapons. I've never seen those before. But I can still manage my fleet, so I can tell everybody to guard my mothership. Oh, look at those are missiles. Beautiful. I'm actually attacking the mothership. Didn't mean to do that. But I can tell everybody to guard the mothership by hitting E. So everybody will now guard the mothership. I can tell everybody to regroup by holding down the E button. So everybody's going to regroup right here. I can tell everybody to move to a different location. Oh, sorry, that's attack. I can tell everybody to move to that location or attack a target.
That's not bad. Not great.
Right. So I can tell everybody to attack this asteroid. Everything is fully destructible in Space Pirates and Zombies, so I can destroy any asteroid, any object in space. Sometimes I think there's stuff in them, sometimes I don't know. Wow, this Ranger's pretty good. Look at that missile volley. That's incredible. Look at that. Amazing. So yeah, we're attacking this incredible. So everybody attack. Attack. Perfect. Beautiful. Isn't that beautiful?
We have sufficiently asserted ourselves over this inanimate material. Surely we must be done with these mindless examinations of competence by now.
Carl, you can fight your way out of a wet paper.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna skip this now because we are technically out of time. We're gonna go back to the star map. There's still so much to show you here, guys.
Place. It is here my power grows. Using the data we have acquired from the sensors, I can refine our ships and equipment. While I would adore being able to, there is research data that has not yet been allocated. Consider not allocating it.
Consider not allocating it. So to top things off, this is still an RPG and has levels. So as we go up in levels, we get new abilities and perks. So we get an automatic free perk of increased part size increase. So that means we can use better than junk type parts. We can actually now go buy regular parts from star bases if we can, whatever we can afford. Yeah, isn't that great? And then we can also pick, and this is completely random, by the way. I just want to point this out because I've been in this game 3 times now, and the third time, every single time I come in here, the options of perks have been completely different. And I wonder if it has something to do with the things that I've done in the game. Because I've done lots of trading, that trading option is there. Because I've done some scavenging, that option is there. Because I've been in combat, that option is there. But this has been different every single time. So I would normally choose, I don't know, scavenging, plus 10% stuff from scavenging. Why not? I'll be a scavenger. I love this game. It is so good. And of course, there's so much.
We have StarCraft of our own. We should learn how to fight
Big
against
galaxy.
them. It's a big galaxy, and we're not original thinkers here. We should be able to look.
Yeah, so it's telling us we need to find a raid, and apparently there's a raid over here. So I think we will end this first impressions video with a raid. How better? And we'll actually speed it up here because I'm not trying to reserve res right now. We're just trying to explore. Oh, here we go. Is that a raid? No, it might be a raid. That might be a raid. I don't know. It looks like maybe they're just attacking something. Here's a raid. Perfect. So yeah, raids are kind of like a faction attack on something, and it's a great way to build your faction, your friendliness with a faction, I believe. A neighboring starbase is deploying a raiding party here. A current starbase owner will appreciate it if you wipe them out. So we're helping them out, and I think we get three ships if we get this, or I think we would earn 3 strikecraft. We would get 6 people, 60 research points. I don't know what they're used for yet. I haven't quite made it that far, and 33 scrap, as well as of course increasing the relationship between me and the faction owner, which is great. So yeah, we're coming in here. This could be the end of us too. I don't know. Let's see.
Do you know what the definition of insanity is? Well, it is not doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. I checked the dictionary. However, that is literally the definition of practice.
Yes.
We have all practiced this over and over. Now let's drop those training wheels and execute.
All right, let's see if
Practice
I've learned
is irrelevant.
anything.
The command and control system is smarter than the sum of
Yeah. I love the dialogue, you guys. Honestly, when or if we do a Let's Play on this, we are definitely going to go through all the dialogue. And you know what? I'm going to leave it up to you whether or not we do a Let's Play. I'm thinking it's probably going to happen because this game, honestly, it's one of the best games I've seen in a long time. I mean, if everybody hates this, that's one thing, but I can't see that happening at all. Those Rangers are amazing. The firepower. Okay, everybody target this guy. Whoops, this guy, please. Awesome. Those Rangers are amazing. So we can actually zoom right in here. Oh, sorry, my targeting isn't so great. There we go. Whoops. I'm still getting used to the combat. I think we're too far away to actually hit him. With the missiles, though, we can hit him. There we go. Target destroyed.
Right. We've graduated from inanimate material. The ship's a 10th of our size.
Perfect.
Are we done burning bugs with a magnifying glass?
Yes.
Good. Okay.
All right, and that concludes our first look at Space Pirates and Zombies 2. It is getting released on May 19th of 2016.
Now that we have achieved at base level.
Yeah. There's things that have not been added to the game quite yet, like multiplayer and of course all the voice acting. And I still think it probably needs a little bit of, touch-ups here and there, sure. But as far as this game being playable and fun, it's amazing. This universe is absolutely 100% dynamic and active and living and breathing. And I feel like I'm involved in a grander story, and I feel like I can take any role in this game. I love it. I absolutely love it, and I don't know what this is going to cost when it actually gets released on Steam. I'm assuming $20, $30. If you have the money, honestly, and you like space games, games like good old Privateer, and games like, games where you get to build your own ships and manipulate your destiny in an unlimited galaxy like Space Pirates and Zombies 1. You are going to love this. It was worth the wait. 3.5 years of wait, worth every minute. Thank you, Minmax Games, and I hope you enjoyed this first look, and we'll see you soon. I'll probably on the Let's Play that we do on this, because I'm sure that people are going to enjoy this. If not, I mean, I won't, but I'm sure. Either way, I'm going to be playing this game. It doesn't matter. It's great. Anyway, take care, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.